Hey guys, what's up? MadSeason here, back with another video for you. Recently, I made a video about all of the major stuff in 7.2, and in that video, I asked you guys if you would like to know about the minor stuff as well. A few of you said yes, so in this video, I want to show you all of the little things being added in this patch. There are 30 in total, so let's get into it. For the most part, I'll just be machine gunning these at you to keep the length of the video relatively short. I'll still go into some detail though, so this video isn't just a patch note read-off. Starting with the most major of the minor and working our way down, first up we have the new crafted legendaries. Feel free to pause the video if you want to see the affixes, but these are new legendary armor pieces that tailors, leatherworkers, and blacksmiths can make. Tailors of course get the cloth, leatherworkers get the leather and mail, and blacksmith get plate. The details on how to get the recipes and the materials for them are still unknown for the most part. The only thing we do know how to get is the nether shard essence, which you get from a vendor in the new Broken Shore zone. Also notice that these are all currently bound on equip. And next up, we have a bunch of legendary changes. They're trying to cut the gap between good and bad legendaries a bit, so in this patch, they're bringing up a lot of utility ones. Either giving them new added DPS affixes or another secondary stat. These are supposed to be in the next PTR build, so when they get added, I'll put a link in the description for you to check out if you want to see specific ones. And another small update is that legendaries now require level 101 to equip, down from 110 for the 3 people out there who got theirs pre-110. Joking aside though, those crafted legendaries also get moved down to 101, so it can be a good way to power yourself up early. And we're also getting 2 new tiers of order hall traits. For tier 7, you have a choice between a new follower type or +1 to your max champion cap. And for tier 8, you get a chance for any artifact power gained from missions or world quests to be doubled. If you saw my major things video, you'd know that we're getting some new artifact traits. The cost for these traits is quite extreme, so to help us out a bit, the max artifact knowledge is getting increased. As of this PTR build, it's at 50. For those of you who have been waiting for a fix to tab targeting, you'll be happy to hear that they did change it a bit. In 7.2, when you're in combat, you can no longer tab target something that isn't in combat with you, and you can't tab target something that you or your character can't see. It is a little awkward to get used to, so whether it's an improvement or not is going to be your preference. We're also getting something that people are calling Paragon reputation caches. For the 5 reputations of the Broken Isles, once you level them to Exalted, a new progress bar will show up in your reputation panel. For every 20,000 additional rep you get for that faction, you get a special cache that can contain mounts and probably gear and artifact power. So it's just a use for reputations past Exalted pretty much. Next, let's move on to the Mythic+ changes, starting with the 4 new affixes. I mentioned these briefly in my major things video, but I think they're appropriate for this video too. We now have 4 new affixes, and that's Bursting, which causes non-boss enemies to explode upon dying, Fell Explosives, which gives enemies a chance to summon an explosive orb near you, Quaking, which periodically damages you for 20% of your max life and interrupts the spellcasting of you and any allies near you, and Grievous, which causes you to take a stacking dot if you drop under 90% life. And we also have some various balancing to existing affixes. Bolstering is the affix which causes enemies to buff everything around them upon dying. The range for this has been reduced from 45 yards to 30. Necrotic Rot is the stacking debuff that reduces healing taken. It now expires upon leaving combat, and it had its duration reduced to 9 seconds down from 10. Skittish is the affix that reduces the threat generated by your tank. It was lowered to a 75% reduction down from 80. Fortify increased non-boss enemies' health by 20% and their damage by 40%. The damage buff has been lowered to 30%. And Tyrannical increased the boss health by 40% and damage by 20%. They just bumped down the damage to 15%. Sanguine, which is the one that drops pools of blood that damages you and heals enemies, had its radius increased to 8 yards. And lastly, the Overflowing affix was removed. In addition to all of these changes, the Karazhan dungeon is getting split up into 2 parts, and that's upper and lower. And it's finally getting activated for Mythic+. It's also getting a heroic mode which is being added to the group finder along with Archway and the Court of Stars. And to add on top of all of that, the difficulty of every dungeon in every difficulty setting is also getting increased, along with the gear rewards. This includes Mythic+. Because of this, the minimum eye level to enter heroic dungeons has been increased to 825. Not counting any warforging, normal mode now gives you eye level 825 gear up from 805, heroic now gives you 845 up from 825, and Mythic gives you 865 up from 840. As for Mythic+, it'll depend on the level of course, but it looks like it might get around a 20 eye level increase in general. Don't quote me on that one though. And another big change to the rewards of Mythic+ is the artifact power. On live servers, everyone wants to run the short dungeons such as the Maw of Souls because it's the fastest for grinding AP. But in 7.2, they're making it so longer dungeons give you more AP, and the shorter ones give you less to balance it out. They did say that overall, the amount that you get will be less than it is on live servers. Speaking of artifacts, let's talk about everyone's favorite profession, archaeology. This got a small update to where elite dig sites pop up, and when you dig, you have a chance to get some artifact power. They're pretty substantial too. I've seen blue and purple ones, and I typically get around 2 per dig site. These special dig sites are indicated by a golden shovel icon on your map. Also, any NPCs that spawn during digging are now taggable by anyone. These just drop bonus fragments and keystones, so if you see someone fighting one, go ahead and help out. Crafting is getting a small upgrade as well. All crafted items that were a base 815, which are the level 110 ones, are getting increased to 835 with the same materials. And they're also turning from blue to purple. I said this in another video, but now may be the time to sell your chaos crystals if you have any, because they might see a spike in supply come patch day. Also in the crafting scene is obliterum. This is used to upgrade crafted gear. In 7.2, it can be used 2 additional times up to eye level 875 up from 865. Also, if you use it on any pre-7.2 eye level 815 crafted gear, the first one will boost it all the way up to 835. The obliterum forge is getting unlocked for free. The quest chain for this is pretty expensive to complete, so good news if that was stopping you. And as a nice bonus, you still get that quest that shows you how it works, which gives you 1 free obliterum. Also in the realm of gearing, we have the targeted armor tokens. You buy these in the Broken Shore zone. You use a currency called nether shards, which you get by doing special events and killing elites on the Broken Shore. You can buy a token for any armor slot, and it'll give you loot appropriate to your specialization. There are blue ones and purple ones. Don't take these numbers too seriously because they may change, but the blue ones cost 400 nether shards and give you eye level 830 gear minimum, and the purple ones cost 5,000 and give you 880 minimum. They can also proc legendary items. And your class all sets are also getting upgrades. Currently on live servers, you can use upgrade kits to bring them to 840. On the PTR, you can get kits that bring them to 870, and you obtain them from world quests in the Broken Shore. The world quests themselves are also getting buffed, so they're still relevant. The max eye level of gear has been increased to 860, up from 845, and in general, like every patch, you'll have a handful of new ones added to the mix. Also, any profession world quest now gives you a skill up upon completing it. The final boss of this expansion, Nami, also got a change. When collecting work orders, you now have a chance to loot something called prepared ingredients. If you combine 10 of these, you get a 10 stack of food that you have a recipe of. So it's just a nice little way to get some extra food, and to make you marginally less angry when he burns everything. Some new animations and spell effects also got added in 7.2. So far, it looks like it's for Death Knights, Druids, and Hunters. Here are some of the Death Knight ones, but if you want to see them all, a guy named Bellular Gaming actually made a really thorough video showing them all off. I'll have a link to that in the description if you want a nice coverage of it. And specifically for Death Knights, their Abomination finally got a new model, and it's looking pretty good. Also on the cosmetic side of things, your Appearance tab got an update. It has a new tab on the top left called Sets, which shows you all of the sets for your class. It shows you which ones you have and haven't collected and where to get them. It's a really nifty feature, I think. And getting the actual sets is a little different in 7.2, and that's because any raid from the Serpent Shrine Cavern in the Burning Crusade to the Siege of Orgrimmar and Pandaria now give you consumable items that give you those set tokens for your spec, instead of turning them into a vendor halfway across the world. You just click it, and it always gives you one for your spec, which is a nice quality of life change. Over time, a lot of the PvP gear has been taken out of the game and is no longer obtainable, specifically from Wrath and the Burning Crusade. In 7.2, they added a bunch of this missing stuff back to their appropriate vendors. And while we're on the subject of PvP, the total amount of honor you need to reach honor levels 1 through 50 at Prestige 0 has been reduced by 50%. They changed this so there's not so much investment into getting your honor talents. It lets you close that gap more quickly. Also, we're getting a 50% buff to XP gained from honor. Another balance update is that you now get a minimum stamina bonus from your artifact weapon in instance PvP. As you may know, putting points into your artifact also passively increases your stamina. Now in PvP, everyone will have the bonus that you would have if you put 36 points in as a minimum, which is 10%. Next is probably the most major change of this whole list, and that's the new Open All button added to the mailbox. So no more need for mailbox add-ons if that's all you wanted out of them. And they also added some cool things for your spellbook. If you don't have a spell on your action bar, it's now highlighted. I have a rogue friend who went the entire Cataclysm expansion without knowing Smoke Bomb existed, so this will help some of you out there, I'm sure. For all of you tanks out there, your taunt is getting buffed a bit. All threat you generate against targets you have taunted is getting increased to 400%, up from 200%, which should help with the skittish affix a bit. And lastly, something you'll probably notice immediately is that players of the opposite faction now have orange names. Their names are still red if you're both flagged, but if both of you aren't flagged, they're orange now. So, that's it. Those are the 30 minor things of patch 7.2. An honorable mention goes out to the artifact trials. These are special challenges you'll be able to do for each spec, and you get some artifact skins for completing them. They're actually going to be pretty major, but they're not in the PTR yet, so I can't cover them. I thought they were still worth bringing up at least though. When they do get released, I'll probably cover them briefly. I'll only have access to the mage ones since that's what I primarily play nowadays, but it should be enough to get the general gist of things. I'm not sure though. Let me know if you want to see a video about those and I'll make one. That's about it though. I hope you found the video helpful. Like it if you liked it, and thanks for watching. Peace.